Hey everybody, thank you for listening to episode 11 of Stapled Together for the week of September 26th, 2018. I am Sudon.
I'm Peachy.
And I'm Moose.
This week we're going to do things a little bit different. No longer doing the This Week in Comics. More to come on that. And we're going to jump right into the This Week Comic Review segment. But first, we got to do what we always do. And we are at its mercy. We have to pull out the
Wheel of Destiny.
Give it a spin. See who's the... That is going to be the Peach.
Didn't it land on me first last time?
We don't know. They haven't heard us yet.
Yes, they have. Hopefully.
Okay, they have heard this.
It's not out yet, but...
If you can correct me, and you can comment on the episode in which he did go first, we may give you a free comment.
Or something. Yeah.
Or something.
You never know.
Maybe,
Comment. You gotta comment.
Maybe a slap to the face. Depends.
What?
You did go first last time.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Still.
I guess.
Comment.
Like.
Subscribe. Sorry.
That stuff.
Yeah, social media crap. We're on Instagram.
We are. And
Instagram.
Twitter. And
Only
Facebook.
Press.
Yeah, woo. Only Press. Followed us. Because we're cool.
Yes, we are.
What do you got for us there, Peach E?
I think, since two of my books I'm going to be reviewing with you guys, that's the Spider-Geddon number 0 and Edge of Spider-Geddon number 4, I'll do this book, which I also share with Sudon, Amazing Spider-Man number 6.
Cool beans.
That is awesome. I like the whole line of these spider books, honestly.
Super entertaining this week, for sure.
There's a lot of outward laughter in this one.
Yeah.
Outward. I actually was like, ha ha. I kept sending Peachy pictures, like, dude, I love this scene. Like, this is great. But
for sure.
I didn't get the peculiars. Who is who and who is what.
The cover that I think you picked up the same cover, right? Yeah.
I picked up the main cover where he's all hanging down from all the webs. Let me see. Should probably have my books out. You picked up this one.
Oh no, we're talking about Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay, so those are your books, right?
Yeah.
I picked up the main cover.
Okay, yeah.
There was only one cover.
There was only one cover. The Humberto Ramos cover.
Humberto Ramos cover, one of my favorite artists. He also did the inside art.
They're Netflix and chillin'.
Why am I on Edge of Spider-Geddon? Hold on. Sorry, you continue, but sorry.
No, the continued story by Nick Spencer on the Amazing Spider-Man book. And yeah, Humberto Ramos, the new artist this week, which I'm loving.
The art was great. I really dig what he does.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got to meet him. A couple years ago, we got to meet him a couple years ago with that. You got Stan Lee and then immediately Humberto Ramos.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was there for that.
It was a good year at Comic-Con. And then I saw another of my favorites, J. Scott Campbell.
Right.
At the same time. And John Romita Jr. That was just a great year. Great year for getting some signage.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite artists' books, for sure.
But yeah, the cover is kind of misleading to what the issue is, but I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig it. Yeah. It's got Mary Jane and Peter, who's in his spider suit with his mask off, being embraced by Boomerang, his roommate.
Yeah.
Watching TV.
Fred Myers.
Netflix and chillin'.
Netflix and chillin'.
Nothing at all that happens because Fred doesn't know. Well, Mary Jane doesn't know that he's Boomerang. Fred doesn't know that Peter's Spider-Man. But it's a fun cover nonetheless because it shows him kind of for lack of a better term, kind of cock blocking Peter and Mary Jane trying to have a date night, and we'll for sure have pictures of this cover and stuff.
Yeah.
But, I dug it, and the inside art is just, he draws people so fun, like they look almost animated, whatever. But
they seem Muppety, but I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Muppety in a real way.
It's really confusing.
Yes, it is. Wrap your mind around it. Podcast.
But the book kind of opens up with Pete. He's trying to get everybody to see Fred for the slime ball that he really is. Everybody's like, he's a great guy. He's a war hero. He played baseball. He's got baseball stories and supervillain stories. And Mary Jane's like, he's super cool. I don't see why you don't like him. And he's his other roommate there. He's like, you missed the key word there, which was supervillain.
Right.
He's like, he's reformed and everything, whatever. And he's like, yeah, all that's behind me. Hey, what are you guys talking about? He just comes in the room and he's like, what are you guys talking about? I'm like way ahead, aren't I?
You jumped ahead a little bit there, but that's okay. That's where, right before that, we get Peter, we're kind of getting a little story of this guy running from somebody, which is first he gets the cops, then
Right.
it turns out to be the Vulture, who is chasing after this guy, and then the Vulture is being chased by somebody else, which turns out to be Taskmaster and Black Ant.
Yeah.
Who take out the Vulture. The other guy dies.
Yeah, because Vulture took him way up and dropped him from...
Yeah, like, it's of no consequence to them. And then next we see Peter getting kissed by Mary Jane, and, you seem distracted, blah, blah, blah. Well, he seems like a cool guy. And here he comes in like, hey, I didn't notice you guys there. What's up, Mary Jane?
Yeah, he's like, oh, I know who you are. She's like,
I'm Bam,
He's like, I've seen your pictures. Whatever. And he's like, anyway, I looked at the chore chart. It's my night to mop, isn't it? So I'm going to mop. And he's like, you haven't done a single chore since you lived here. And he's like, yeah, well, I'm going to...
It's my brother.
And he, just to get Pete, basically, because that's what he... When Mary Jane was like, you seem distracted, he was standing in the doorway, kind of like Drax in Infinity War, like, just eating chips and watching them make out. Yeah.
You cannot see me. I am so...
I'm moving so slow.
But, yeah, then he's complaining to his other roommate, and that's when his other roommate tells him, he's great. Ex-supervillain, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, what are you guys talking about? And he's like, what's his name? Fred. Boomerang comes in. He's like, what are you guys talking about? And they kind of try to change the subject and whatever. And he's like, oh, this reminds me of a story of when I fought Spider-Man. And he had his Mr. Universe powers, or what was it?
Yeah, Mr. Universe powers.
So he was, like, extremely more difficult to defeat and blah, blah, blah. And Peter's like, no, he didn't. That was a long time after he had it. He's like, what? How do you know? And I can't remember the other roommate's name.
The roommate name is...
It's Robbie Robertson's son.
I just said that. Let's see.
But something Robertson.
Randy Robertson.
Randy Robertson, yeah.
They're so original with these names.
Always.
And Randy's like, oh, you didn't tell him, Pete? And I'm like, wait a second, didn't tell him what? And then he breaks out. He's like, he's the aficionado on Spider-Man. He took his pictures. He put out a book. He did all this. So he knows, like, Spider-Man really well. And Peter's like, yeah, I probably know Spider-Man better than he knows himself. Blah, blah, blah. And whatever. And then Fred all of a sudden, like, Pete, you got to come with me.
Like serious face, too.
Like, deadpan shit. You have to come with me.
There was a little section right before that, though, that we kind of, where you see Pete had been following him to try to catch him in some sort of act of something.
Right.
And he was always going to this place, and he just meeting up with, like, Electro and all these other villains and playing poker.
right?
and playing poker, and they're like just shoot the shit, and they have rules, and they're all this stuff, and it's kind of like the bar with no name, you know, stuff like that. And I'm like, that's honor amongst thieves, you know, and I'm like, that's kind of fun. They have their camaraderie, but then we jump into that one, and I like that serious look at his face. It's like, oh, what's he up to? Then.
Yeah, and he basically drags him out of the house in his Boomerang costume, and he's like, I thought you said you were done with all that. Well, I am, but it's part of the rules. You gotta come with me. Blah, blah, blah. And he pulls him into the freaking bar with no name.
But there was a little interaction I said to you at this point that I loved. I thought it was hilarious. And he's all like, where are you taking me? Pete, stop stressing. You trust me, don't you? Pete, without you, I do not.
I do not.
Like, this is great. I thought that was just wonderful.
Yeah, banter back and forth. That's great.
Great writing on that one part. It brought me actually to chuckle out loud on that one.
Yeah, there were a lot of laughing moments in this, and even like that the poker game you mentioned before, where they're just kind of sitting around, and he's like, oh, I've got an ultimate plan to defeat Spider-Man. And
they're like,
they're like, okay, let's just play poker. It was really cool.
There's a lot of comical moments in this, in which kind of for a lot of how down he always is on himself and has been lately. It's kind of refreshing to see him still having a little bit of joy around him, but he's like being a stick in the mud about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on, man, it's kind of cool. And then we get into the bar with no name, and he's like, oh shit, these guys knew I was Spider-Man. Yeah. All these villains everywhere. It's freaking crazy.
He's like, you know the rules. What's up, Myers? Who's this guy? He doesn't have a costume. He's like, he's the liar. They're like, what? Well, where's his costume? Or is he wearing costume? Is that just part of the lie?
Oh. Boomerang really talks about, like, you kind of make him kind of understand why people go, he's a good guy. He can talk, he's a smooth talker.
He's chummy, whatever, like super, good old boy kind of, and everybody wants to be his friend kind of guy. Whatever, but come to find out, the reason they went to the bar with no name is for Spider-Man trivia night.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole time he's sitting there like, oh, and I gotta tell you about this. This was the other part that I laughed at or hardcore, is they were making fun of Boomerang and the fact that him and Shocker had to go to couples therapy.
Oh yeah, that's
and they flash over to them and he's all like, and how did that make you feel? Locking me in a car trunk and pushing me off a bridge? Pretty fucking bad, Doc. And I'm like, that's great. Like, they had these little snippets in here, and it was... I enjoyed the hell out of that one. Sorry, I had to remember that one.
No worries. But yeah, Pete was having no part of being there, even if it was Spider-Man trivia. He's like, I don't want to be here. Then he overhears like a conversation about something that's going to go down later and whatever. So he's like, okay, I have to. It's my duty to stay here and get what I can and find out about this. But then he like really gets into the game, into the trivia, and he's just like...
The whole time he's like, these are so freaking easy, come on!
Really?
Nobody?
Yeah, the first question, the guy's like, this is the first question of the night. We've had it before, nobody knew the answer. Let's see if anyone's brushed up on their skills. It was super, like, cheesy, and just, like, a bunch of villains in a bar playing trivia like normal people.
Yeah.
And whatever.
I've been liking a lot of that. Like lately, seeing a lot of the normalization of the villains in the Spider-Man verse. The fact that they're just people that are on hard time doing bad things. There's good people on both sides. No. In this situation, actually, yeah. They have some good qualities to them. Villains aren't just one-sided bad guys, and that's cool.
But so he's whooping ass at trivia. He's tearing it up. He didn't even notice that Fred was gone or that his cell phone was missing. But
yeah,
apparently Fisk's office had been